Hello and welcome to Tarot Insights. I'm so excited for tonight. Tonight we're going to be looking at 2021 from a global perspective. Let me know you're here by saying hi and maybe where you're watching from. We have people all over the country and sometimes even all over the world watching Tarot Insights. So it's nice to know where you're at. So definitely say hi. There is a bit of a delay, and sometimes, up hi, Elizabeth. There is a little delay, and sometimes I may miss people coming on. And so if I don't say hi, you're either watching the reveal, you're watching the rerun, or I just missed you. And I apologize. Hi, Elizabeth, Yolanda, Jean, Tracy, Cindy, Carol, David. Great to see you all. Up, Ashley. So we've got Virginia Beach. I know we've got over on the West Coast as well. We've got New York City. Here we have Sydney, Laura, Susan. Hello. All right. Well, we're going to get started. We've got a good group. Now, remember, tonight's a little different. We're going to be doing 2021 from a global perspective. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 5 cards for each topic, and one will represent each quarter, and then the final will be an overall. Hi, Ari and Marta. Glad you could join us. So, last time we did more of a personal perspective, and remember, if you were watching, we were talking about that. The energies that I'm going to be talking about are energies that will be available to everyone, and everyone will use them differently. It's like if you go into a grocery store, there's a lot of different things on the shelves, but we may take some, leave some, we may take some and use it differently. What are we going to use that flour? Are we going to make pancakes, or are we going to make, something, fried chicken? So we all use the energy differently, and some energy we may not choose to act on at all. Hi, Kay. All right, well, let's get started. So from a global perspective, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the overall economy coming up in the next year, 2021. So when we look, what's the global economy for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and what's the global economy overall? So this is going to not only be our United States, right? We're looking at a much bigger picture. Oh, we had some more people join us. Nina and Danielle, glad you could come. So when we look global economy wise, to be honest, this is looking really good. It's looking better than I expected. We have a rise in the first quarter, and then we have in the second and third quarter, I think we have too much light going on here. Hold on one second. I want you to be able to see everything really well. Nope, that's not the light that's the problem. I think this is the light that's the problem. Let's see. Maybe this is the light that's the problem. We're working this out. Bear with me. No. Okay, well, there's not one light. It's just the overall lighting. I think that's problematic. Okay, so we have a little reflection off the cards. There's nothing I can do about it. So anyway, so the first quarter, we have this card, which is looking to the future. I think people are going to feel more energized and feeling like they can see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think people are going to be spending money. And I think that's good. But then second quarter, I think people are going to be like, we're not feeling well yet. We're not healthy. This world is not healthy. Oh, hi, Amy. We're talking about economy for 2021. In the third quarter, I think people are going to continue kind of not going places. And I think they're going to say, oh my goodness, we thought people would be traveling more by then. But I don't think it happens. But by the time we get to the fourth quarter, then we've decided we're not stabbed in the back anymore. We're not like this. And people, I think, are going to let loose a bit. And so even though there's going to be a little bit of an ups and down here, as we have with the temperance, I think that it's going to be a slow and steady. I think you're going to find a little bit of a hump up, then it's going to kind of go down, then it's going to go back up again. But I think if you look from beginning of year to end of year, I think you'll see a slow and steady rise. Hi, Pasqua and Janet, glad to see you. So that's finances in 2021 on a global level. Let's look at how about Earth, how's the Earth going to do? So this would be climate change and things like that. How does climate change look, and are there any solutions coming up? So let's just look at Gaia in general. How are you doing, Mama? Gaia in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and overall. Well, I think that what these cards are saying is that we're going to do some, but not enough, because the final overall card is the High Priestess upside down. I think that the secrets, it's not a secret anymore. It's going to be very clear, the effects of climate change, but it also, the High Priestess upside down can be a lack of commitment. But it shows that we get together and we start working together towards climate change in the first quarter. And I think second quarter, we make some big promises. We really look at, I feel, where we come together on a global level, because we have all four elements. And to me, that's like four corners of the earth. But then I think that as we come into the fall, we're going to look at the emissions are just really still high, and I think that some of the countries that have the highest emissions are going to be the least willing to do the work. But I do feel there will be an initiative by car companies in the fourth quarter that will attempt to bring things a little bit more under control. Overall, this doesn't look terrible, but it's just not looking like they've got it all figured out, right? But it does look like they're doing some things, better. Now, we've had Tammy join us, and Nina's having a little trouble with the video message. If anybody else is having trouble, you let me know. Otherwise, Nina, it may be a restart and start up again thing. So now, are there going to be any major Earth changes in 2021? Are there going to be any Earth changes? When we looked at 2012 was supposed to be a big deal, but some people also felt that they may have had that a little backwards and it could have been 2021. So let's look at Earth changes during that time. Okay, so you're having bad video as well. Let me see if I can get me plugged in better. Dave, could you help out and plug me into the the better video? The video's not going well. I think Dave has his headphones on. Bear with me, I'll see what I can do. I'm not sure where the doohickey is. Maybe you could plug it into yeah, but that thing isn't plugged in, so you have to plug that in. Here, you just have to plug it in. Yeah. So, okay, we're working on getting the video a little better for you guys. All right. Oh, Amy. Hi, Amy. How you doing? Okay. So, I'll just keep going while Dave does his magic. It's behind the scenes. No, it's not plugged in. That's what I said, sweetheart. It's not plugged in. You gotta plug this in. Okay. Hold on, we're still working. I can't see to do it. Can you see it? Okay. That arm is Dave, who is my electronics guru. He's the one that makes all this stuff work. All righty. Well, that should be giving us a little bit better. Let's start over. We have Gaia here. She was popping up for our Earth changes, but let's start over with those Earth changes. All right. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll help the choppiness of the video. All right. So Earth changes. What Earth changes are we going to be seeing in 2021? First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and final. Well, looks like some Earth changes. I feel we're going to be feeling rocky roller coaster. So I would say more earthquakes in the first quarter. Now, there's always earthquakes every quarter, but this seems to be a more jarring. And one of the earthquakes may trigger some volcanic action. So that's a little scary, but doesn't mean the world's going to explode. It just means that you may find that a volcano was triggered by one of the earthquakes. Now, it doesn't look so bad that it's that big one in the middle of the United States. So don't worry about Yellowstone going up or wherever, whichever one has the big caldera. The second quarter, though, it seems like things calm down. It's almost like this process of spring gives energy for Earth to use up some of that excess energy. Same thing, third quarter. I'm not seeing a lot of, poop hitting the fan. Fourth quarter, though, you may find that the smog is back. After the coronavirus, some of the smog went away. You may find that the smog comes down and they start looking again at emissions. We've gotten this card twice. First time I was right set up. That was them doing something good about it, but this is overall. I think they're really going to figure out that we are not doing enough for those emissions. Let's look at 2021 as far as evolution and spiritual life. Now these are we're only doing one card per quarter, and so we're not getting super detailed here, but it'll give you an idea of things to expect. Alrighty, now spirituality and evolution in 2021. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and overall. Wow. So first quarter, we have death upside down. It doesn't mean we're all going to live forever, but it means that we're having trouble processing and putting our evolution into action. But by the time we get to second quarter, the tower, it sounds like terrible, but it's really everything. It's the ego gets knocked down and we start building from a new foundation. Second quarter, I want you to be gentle with yourself. You're going to see things about yourself and about others that you may not like, but it is the happening that has to happen so that we can stop building on ego, stop building on all of this, money is king or whatever. And so there's going to be a little bit of craziness, I think, going on second quarter that pushes us into third quarter. We have the Fool, new beginnings, not foolish. It comes from the Latin word phallus, which means breath or breath of God, closer to God. And whatever you see as the divine, right? It doesn't have to be a traditional God. It's showing that third quarter, I feel we're going to be coming closer to God, closer to our purpose, closer to our original state, and we're going to want to tell the world about it in the fourth quarter. I think you're going to see a push on new books, pushes about evolution. You may see more memoir type things where people are talking about, wow, this is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. And so you may find that there's more self-published things happening. Overall, I think that things will be happening quite a bit under the surface versus in your face on many levels, because this shows things are happening, but we're not necessarily seeing them. And so you may find that people are making changes, but it's happening internally before it can be explored or presented externally. And so be patient with people. I think that spiritually we're going to be going through a lot. I think it's going to be good in the big picture, but spiritual growth doesn't happen when everything's fine and dandy. It usually happens when there's a fire going on. What about direction and focus? What's the direction and focus that the world is going to be taking? Remember, we're looking this on a much bigger, this isn't just our personal, although it'll affect us personally. So when I look at what's the focus or direction that's going to be happening in 2021. Okay. First quarter, I think we are just very self-centered, looking at all the stuff that hasn't happened yet. We are looking at, whether it's hoping the pandemic slows down, hoping that we can get out and about more. But it shows that we are just really, our focus is inward on what isn't. But by the time we get into second quarter, our focus is on our desires, our passions, what makes us happy. And this is a movement card. Now, we may not be doing a lot of traveling. We saw that in some of the other cards. But I think that as far as in our following our passion, following our bliss, I think we are going to find as a world we're more looking at saying, let's focus on our joys, not all this sorrow. I do feel there's going to be some legal things going on, and the world is going to be focused on that in the third quarter. I'm not sure what it is. It may have to do, it feels like some of it is not only the United States, but that it's also It seems like a tribunal, which usually means multiple people coming together, but I do feel there's going to be some legal things. Now, one of the things I did see, if you read my blog, based on numerology this year, we're coming into the year of the Hierophant, or we're in the year of the Hierophant, and that is religious organizations. And so there could be some legal things having to do with religious organizations. If you're interested in that, I put the link to the blog, which goes all through my predictions, which are pretty detailed, a lot of different things, a lot of different predictions for 2021. All right, now by the time we get into the fourth quarter, I think our focus is going to be having some to do with looking at volcanoes, earth changes, earth shakings, earthquakes and volcanoes. And I think that we're really going to be looking at a lot of seismic information. I do feel that they may find that one of the something in the ocean has shifted. That is a global concern. But again, I don't think it's so horrible that the world ends. I just think that this is what we're looking at, what we're going to be focusing on. But look what the general is. We're focusing on love. And so even through these ups and downs that we're seeing, our basic direction of focus is offering love, offering support. I think you're going to find more food kitchens, more donations. I think that you're going to find that when people say what's a key word for 2021, I think it's going to be giving and support. So I think that that's going to be a really good thing that comes out of that. Now, let's look at political, right? I tried to pick some good things first before I got to political. Please, no political commentary in the comments, because people come from all different walks of beliefs, all different walks of political belief. And so I'll just delete any political commentary, so don't bother. All right, so let's look and see what it says for political for 2021. Remember, this is global. This isn't just the United States. When I look at political for 2021, when we look at a global level, I think what you're going to find is that support gets pulled out from people that thought they had a lot of support. I think politically people walk away from the political process in the first quarter. I think they're going to be like, this is not working for me, and people walk away. And I think people get really depressed and down in the dumps about what's going on politically. Remember, this is not only the U.S., this is globally. But I do feel that there's going to be some interesting global things going on with royalty. Now, that could be England, it could be any royalty, but I think you're going to find some interesting political things about the royal families that I feel is going to help people to kind of get interested back into that. I feel that there is going to be a lack of participation coming up once you hit the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is not a heavy political time usually, because it's October, November, December, and usually that's times that people aren't like on a political, well, November can be, but I don't think 2021 is going to be a well participated, if there are elections either here or throughout the world, I don't think they're going to be well participated if they're in that fourth quarter. I feel there's going to be we're going to be in this place of disagreement politically, and that is globally, not just here. So now let's look finally, what are the energies that you and I and the world, what are the energies that are happening worldwide that you and me can take advantage of and utilize for ourselves? And how do we do that? So what is the energies that we can take advantage of? And I don't mean take advantage in a negative way, but that we can put to work for ourselves. And the first one is not stressing so much. This is one where we see where the energy, I think you're going to be feeling like people are like, I am so tired of being sad or angry or depressed. And I think we can take on and ride that wave, and to say, doesn't mean we don't fight for what we believe is important. Although when you think about spiritually, fighting for something is kind of a diction. Anyway, but we don't, it doesn't mean that what we feel is important is not important, but we look and say, do I need to keep me up at night? Do I need to get all upset about it? The second quarter, we have a card where the energy is going to be not so much running around trying to solve everybody else's problems. And so you may find, how do we use that? One of the ways that we use that, I think, is by really looking at saying, let's take care of our house. So if we all took care of our own house, we wouldn't need people to take care of everybody else's house, right? And so you may find there's a real inward move or a real movement towards taking care of your own, whether it's your own community, whether it's your own family, whether it's your own house, versus looking to big countries, corporations, whatever, governments to take care of us for us. It does show a real focus on mental health in the third quarter, and I think we can use this by helping to relieve the stigma or let go of the stigma around mental health care. We all need mental health care. To me, I think the people that are kind of crazy are the people that don't go and get the therapy that's needed. I'm a real proponent for mental health therapy. I think it's so important to have someone to talk to. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It means you're sane enough to realize it. Sometimes we need help. We can't do it all on our own. And so I think there's going to be a global awareness, mental health awareness, and probably because we're in such crisis. I mean, we're in a mental health crisis that we haven't seen in I don't know when. So third quarter is going to be a fabulous focus on mental health. Fourth quarter, I think we're really going to be looking at recognizing that we can go different places, but we take our stuff with us. That where we go isn't where we go that makes the difference, right? How we grow and what we do really comes from within. It's more of an understanding that the grass is greener where you water it. Right? The grass is greener where you water it. It's not necessarily the grass is greener someplace else. And I think the main energy we're going to get that we're going to be using is a disenchantment with governments, a disenchantment with corporations, a disenchantment or a move towards small businesses, a move towards community, helping community versus expecting some big group to take care of us. And I think that that's going to be an amazing shift towards more self-sustainability, if that makes sense. So that gives you a little peek about what I see coming up for 2021 globally. When I look to see what do we need to hear, I get the card. I don't know if I can get it again. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. I get the card of stop looking at everything as either black or white, good or bad. I was watching something on, I think it was a hee-haw or something. It was something old, and the guy was saying, well, this happened, and the other guy would go, well, that's good. He's like, no, that wasn't good. This happened. Oh, well, that's not good. And he'd say, oh no, that was good. We can find good or bad with everything that happens, right? There's a silver lining and there's a dustbin in everything that happens. And so the message for really 2021 is to see it clearly, see it is as it is. Some days are going to be great, some days aren't. And to live in integrity with what is really going on. Live in integrity with what you're really feeling, recognizing that our feelings and our emotions are changeful. We could be depressed this minute and not depressed the next. I mean, clinical depression aside, that's a different story. But that when we look at things, it doesn't have to be good or bad. It probably just is. The favorite story I love to tell for this is that when you look at that ice cream cone, that large ice cream cone, you say, oh, this is good. And then you eat it and you feel sick and you're like, oh, that was bad. But then you get the sugar rush and you're like, oh, this is good, you know, and then you get the sugar crash. Oh, that was bad. And then you get on the scale. Oh, that was bad. But it motivates you to do something about it. Oh, this is good, right? So that it's the ice cream cone isn't good or bad. It's how it affects us that makes us view it as good or bad. And if we can detach ourselves from judging things based on how they affect us versus allowing ourselves to just see it as it is. It's an ice cream cone, right? You know, it just is. I think you'll find 2021 just goes a little more smoothly without as many ups and downs. Thank you for tuning in. I've put on in the comments the link to the blog, a link to my 2 websites. I am doing psychic readings. Don't forget that. If you go on to spiritualsimplicityBooks.com, there's 2 specials I'm running right now. One for the soul energy map. It comes with a free tarot numerology report. And the other is for a reading, a 20-minute reading that comes with a free tarot numerology report. So, but those are only available on spiritualsimplicityBooks.com. If you search holiday, it'll come right up. And I'm also doing a 2021 preview, which is $75. You're not on the phone when I do it. And I'll go personally, for you personally, what I see coming up. It takes about 25-30 minutes. And it's recorded for you, and you get the recording. And that's available as well. If you're interested in any of those, you can email me, message me, text me, however, you'll get a hold of me, I'm sure. Listen, have a great week. We'll see you back next Sunday, and we'll be back to regular Tarot Insights where we're looking at what's coming up for the week. Thanks so much. Blessings, everyone. Bye-bye.